Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
One of my favorites. Listening to Home Wizard, Cindy Dole here every Saturday to hopefully help you with those spaces you call home, whether it is an apartment or it is a palatial or estate, and whether all you have is just this kitchen garden or maybe you have this huge rolling hills of garden. This is what we're all about to help you make it mo better. 888-KFWB-980 is the number, and we're talking about using paint to make things look better. And a paint expert and scrubbability test maestro, and really he's kind of like the Bill Nye science guy for Behr Paint, Rick Mueller, right? Aren't you kind of like the Bill Nye guy?
I'll take that.
You'll
that
take
sounds
it.
great.
You kind of put a little science fun. All you're missing is the lab coat. You know?
Right.
But in terms of helping us as we're shopping this weekend for paint, you mentioned earlier that we can't really see on the can in terms of what the ingredients are. But in terms of the sheen, help us. For those of us who are do-it-yourselfers, where do we begin? Should we get a flat paint? Should we get kind of a shiny paint? What would you recommend?
And that all depends on what room you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The kitchens and bathrooms, moisture is an issue. So that the shinier that the paint is, because most people are familiar with flat, maybe a satin finish, semi-gloss, and then high gloss. Those are some of the main sheens that you can look at.
Yeah.
The tighter the paint film gets, kind of meaning that the tighter and smaller they make the little pigments we talked about in there, the tighter they do that, the shinier the paint's actually going to get. Because the tighter the film is, more light reflects off it. It's just simply light reflecting off the surface. So you have a flat paint, those pigments are big and chunky in there, and so it kind of absorbs the light, and we look at that and say, oh, that's not very shiny. Well, that also now is not good for a kitchen or bathroom because those big chunky pigments now keep it real porous. The moisture from the shower, the sink, those kind of things penetrate right through that paint and go right to your wall. Creating problems. Mold, mildew, peeling paint. So the tighter you make the film, you start to move up into maybe like an eggshell or a satin. A lot of people are familiar with satin.
Sure.
So 100% acrylic satin finish gives you more of that elegant look where it's not too shiny. People sometimes talk about, well, God, it's too shiny. I don't really like that with all that sheen. Okay, let's stay to a satin finish then. It's got a nice, elegant finish to it where you kind of look down the wall from a side angle, you see a little bit of sheen. Well, that's tightening the film up now. Still looks really good, not too shiny, but very scrubbable and durable. And then somebody who likes something like Erica had mentioned on a front door.
Yes.
You like that to really pop.
Yeah.
Okay, if the color helps, that's good. But if you get one that's really shiny, a high gloss, that really jumps out. And that's
silky,
a real durable
like
finish.
butter.
Right.
And I also love a really high gloss paint on my molding.
Yes.
Gotta have it on the molding and the closet doors. I mean, something about that just makes it seem,
right.
I don't know, fancy.
Yeah,
it just looks
that's
pretty.
Right.
And,
And
more
typically,
finished.
typically, people will put the flat paints on the walls. That's at least what we do here in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Flat paint on the walls and then make it pop on the trim with your semi-gloss or high gloss. Exactly. I just painted some bathroom doors at our home with some high gloss, and it really makes them pop.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about storing paint? For when we have after we've finally done our project and we have to put it somewhere and we want to make sure that we have that little bit we need for touch-ups later on, right?
Right.
What's the best place to store paint?
Absolute best place, Cindy, is in the closet in the inside of the house because the temperature stays pretty consistent. Hot and cold during the winter, we put the air conditioner on, heater on.
Not the garage.
Well, for us here on the West Coast, we're okay with that, especially here in Southern California. Our temperatures are pretty mild. But you start going into areas, up in Minnesota, go up in the Northwest where it gets cold, freezing. That's where you run into problems. Now, part of the science in the CSI lab, like you mentioned there at the factory, part of what they do is they build the paint with a freeze-thaw cycle. And the inexpensive paints won't even have one. And we talk about how long will it last as it goes through the seasons, frozen and rethawed. Well, ours have 5 cycles. You can actually take our can, freeze the paint, freeze the Behr paint solid, let it thaw, still use it. You can do that 5 times. And then it kind of turns into cottage cheese. So in the inexpensive ones, though, and so now think that through. You put that out in the garage.
Yeah.
And if you live in Minnesota, you start to get in the wintertime, everything's freezing out there. Paint won't last very long.
That is very fascinating. How about this new concrete stain that you guys have out that I think is so cute? It's it's like it's like on a kit. You can basically make your pool deck or your patio look like it's marble.
Right. It's actually a concrete dye, and it's a little bit different than a concrete stain. But I've been out kind of demonstrating that with our customers around the country here.
And this is
lately.
a self-do-it-yourself kind of project, right?
Yeah. See, what the look they're looking for most times is that acid wash look.
I love that.
And that is really nice.
Like in browns and rusts.
And greens and all those kind of cool things.
Yeah.
The thing with the acid stain, though, is it's using hydrochloric acid. I mean, that's the stuff that's really, really nasty. Mm-hmm. You actually have to be certified to use those things. So the contractors are typically the guys putting those on. Now, what they do is they react with the lime that's in the concrete. And so as you put it on, you really can't control it. You're going to get what you get depending on what your concrete pour is like. Now, with this new concrete dye, it's water-based. You control it. You put a base color on first. We let that dry. Come back with an accent color. And then a glossy finish over the top, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
And we don't have to be artistic. We can...
Oh, no.
I love
Anyone
it.
can do this.
It. Well, so fun having you. And the website is Behr.com to see all the different things and get started. So thanks, Rick Mueller, and thanks for the little scrubbability test.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Cindy.
Very cool having you. All right. Well, coming up next, it is Halloween time just about. It's getting scary. We're going to talk with my friends at Better Homes and Gardens, some really great ways to affordably and creatively get your place ready for Halloween. This is Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole. We're back in just a moment.